Okay, real talk. It's 2 a.m. right now. You're lying in bed, phone is in your hand, and you keep telling yourself, okay, just 5 more minutes and I'll sleep. But somehow, those 5 minutes turned into 2 hours, and now it's almost 4 a.m. and you still can't sleep. Sound familiar? If yes, then this video is literally made for you. Because today, we're going to talk about people who sleep late at night, why they do it, what's actually happening inside their body, and honestly, is it really as bad as everyone keeps telling you? Stick around, because some of what I'm about to tell you might actually surprise you. Let's start with the most basic question. Why do people actually sleep late? And I don't mean people who are forced to sleep late because of work or studies. I'm talking about people who genuinely can't fall asleep early, no matter what they do. The biggest reason for this is something called your circadian rhythm. Think of it as your body's internal clock. This clock tells your body when to feel sleepy and when to feel awake. For most people, this clock is set to feel sleepy around 10 or 11 p.m. But for some people, and this is real science, their clock is naturally shifted. It runs 2 to 3 hours later than normal. So when everyone else is feeling sleepy at 11, these people are feeling wide awake. Scientists call this delayed sleep phase syndrome, or DSPS. It's not laziness, it's literally biology. Your body is wired differently. Now, there's also the mental side of it. A lot of people sleep late because nighttime feels like the only time that belongs to them. During the day, there's work, college, family, there are responsibilities. But at night, when the house is quiet and no one is asking anything from you, that's when you finally feel free. You scroll, you watch videos, you think, you create. Psychologists actually have a name for this. They call it revenge bedtime procrastination. You're basically taking revenge on your busy day by refusing to sleep. You're reclaiming your time. And honestly, it makes total sense, even if your body ends up paying the price.
Okay. Now let's get into the real stuff. What is actually happening inside your body when you're a consistent late sleeper? First, let's talk about melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. Your body starts producing it when it gets dark outside. But here's the problem. When you're staring at a bright phone screen at midnight, the blue light from your screen literally tells your brain, hey, it's still daytime, and your brain stops making melatonin. So now you're not just choosing to stay awake. Your own brain chemistry is working against you. Second, your body does most of its repair work while you sleep, especially between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. This is when your body releases growth hormone, repairs your cells, processes your memories, and clears out toxins from your brain. When you're awake during those hours, you're missing out on all of that. Over time, this can show up as brain fog, slow thinking, mood swings, and even a weaker immune system. You start getting sick more often. Your skin starts looking tired. Your metabolism slows down. And here's something that not many people talk about. Consistently sleeping late messes with your cortisol levels. Cortisol is your stress hormone. When you're sleep deprived, cortisol stays elevated, which means your body is in a low-level state of stress all the time. This can increase anxiety, cause emotional eating, and over time, raise your risk for serious health issues like diabetes and heart problems. But, and this is important, a lot of these problems are not just about when you sleep. They're about how much you sleep and how consistent you are. Someone who sleeps from 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. every single day without disruption is actually in a much better position than someone who sleeps from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. and then wakes up at 5 a.m.
Now, here's the part that I know you've been waiting for. There's this popular idea that people who sleep late are actually smarter or more creative. Is there any truth to this? Surprisingly, yes. Some research actually backs this up. A study published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences found that people with higher IQ scores tend to prefer staying up late. Other research has shown that night owls often score higher in analytical intelligence and tend to be more creative. And if you look at history, many famous thinkers, artists, and writers, including Charles Darwin, Marcel Proust, and Franz Kafka, were known to be night owls who did their best work in the late hours. Now, this doesn't mean sleeping late makes you smarter. The relationship is more complicated than that. What researchers think is happening is that people who are naturally more curious and open to new experiences tend to push boundaries, including their sleep schedules. They stay up late exploring ideas, reading, creating, thinking deeply.
So it's less about the sleep timing and more about the kind of person you are. There's also something called the night owl advantage. Late sleepers often perform better on cognitive tasks in the evening, while early risers are sharper in the morning. Your brain has its own peak performance window, and for night owls, that window just opens later in the day.
Here's something we don't talk about enough: the emotional and social life of someone who sleeps late. Night owls often feel deeply misunderstood. The world is built for morning people. School starts early, office hours start early, even brunch is a thing that happens before noon. And if you're a late sleeper, you're constantly fighting this system. You're groggy in the morning when you're supposed to be productive. You feel judged for being lazy when really your brain just operates on a different schedule. There's also the loneliness angle. Nights can feel incredibly lonely, especially when you're awake at 3 a.m. and everyone else is asleep. A lot of late-night thinkers end up going into long, deep thought spirals about life, about their choices, about the future. And without anyone to talk to, those thoughts can sometimes turn pretty dark. Studies have shown that chronic late sleepers have higher rates of depression and anxiety, though again, it's hard to say whether it's the late sleeping that causes the mental health issues, or whether people with anxiety and depression are more likely to stay up late in the first place. It probably goes both ways.
So, what do you actually do if you're someone who sleeps late? I'm not going to stand here and tell you to just go to sleep at 10 p.m. because, honestly, if it were that simple, you would have done it already. So, let's talk about real practical stuff. The first and most important thing, be consistent with your sleep time, whatever it is. If you're sleeping at 1 a.m. every night and waking up at 9 a.m., that's 7 to 8 hours. And if you keep that consistent every single day, including weekends, your body will actually adjust and function well. The biggest damage comes from an irregular schedule, sleeping at 1 a.m. on weekdays and then 4 a.m. on weekends because you're binge-watching something. That inconsistency destroys your body clock. Second, protect your sleep environment. Keep your room cool and dark. Put your phone across the room so you're not scrolling in bed. Stop using screens at least 30 to 45 minutes before you want to fall asleep. I know this sounds boring, but blue light blocking glasses or simply switching your screen to night mode can genuinely make a difference. Third, try a wind-down ritual. Your brain needs to transition from active mode to sleep mode. Spend 20 to 30 minutes doing something calm before bed. Reading a physical book, light stretching, journaling, listening to calm music, whatever works for you. This signals to your brain that it's time to slow down. Fourth, get natural light in the morning. Even if you wake up at 9 a.m., go outside or open your curtains and sit in sunlight for at least 10 minutes. Morning sunlight is one of the most powerful ways to reset your circadian rhythm over time. It tells your body clock to start its day earlier, which eventually makes you feel sleepy a bit earlier at night. And fifth, if you genuinely feel like your sleep schedule is out of your control and it's affecting your work, your health, or your mental state, please talk to a doctor. Delayed sleep phase syndrome is a real treatable condition. There are things like light therapy, melatonin supplementation, and behavioral therapy that can actually help shift your sleep timing. Look, at the end of the day, no pun intended, sleeping late is not a character flaw. It's not laziness. For many people, it's simply the way their brain is wired. The world we live in doesn't always accommodate night owls, and that can be genuinely frustrating. But the key is to work with your biology as much as you can while also taking care of your health. If you're a night owl, own it, but be smart about it. Protect your sleep hours, keep your schedule consistent, and don't let late nights turn into sleep deprivation, because there's a big difference between being a night owl who thrives and someone who's just exhausted all the time and calling it a personality. I hope this video helped you understand yourself a little better. If it did, drop a like, leave a comment telling me what time you usually go to sleep. I'm genuinely curious. And subscribe if you want more content like this. I'll see you in the next one. Stay curious, take care, and get some sleep.